Good morning everyone, Gadget here with another Capture One Pro tutorial, and in this video, I'm gonna give you my top 10 keyboard shortcuts for Capture One Pro. Let's get this started. Welcome back everyone, and if you're not familiar by now, let me just tell you guys what's going on. I'm building out a series of Capture One Pro tutorials. The goal is to keep them all within 5 minutes, and each one focus on a specific tool or feature or tip. And in this one, we're gonna talk about my top 10 keyboard shortcuts. I love them because it just allows me to process and go through my images faster, and I think that this will actually be useful to your editing workflow. Let's go take a look at what we're talking about. So we have our image here. I'm gonna show you a couple of quick keyboard shortcuts that will be useful to you. Hitting C on your keyboard will bring up the crop tool. Cropping is something you'll do often when you're editing your images because it's just one of the standard things to getting your composition right. Hitting C on your keyboard, that will ensure that you can get to your tool a lot faster than going into your tool tab and selecting it individually. Again, that's C on your keyboard. When you're done, often when I finish an edit, I will hit H. H goes to your hand tool. This will not only finish the edit, but go to the tool that I use to double click and pan across my image. Again, H, that's the hand tool, super useful in me actually processing and looking at my images and quickly moving from one tool to the next. Hitting R on the keyboard will bring up your straightening option. In this case, it's the standard straightening tool. And with this, you can straighten your image to your liking. So when I'm composing my image, I will start with the crop and then I'll go to the straighten. And sometimes I go between the two to actually get my composition perfect. But again, that's R on the keyboard to bring up your straightening tool. Another useful keyboard shortcut is the letter O, and that will bring up your spot removal. Now, I'm not using this at the early stages of my edit, and more often than not, I'm using Photoshop or even retouch on the iPad to do fine-tune retouching, but Capture One is not bad. I can actually go, let's hit H first, zoom in. I can then hit O to bring up my spot retouching, bring it down to a size that I like. So again, that's just me right-clicking. I can bring this to a size that I'm happy with, and a little bit bigger, and click there, and just remove any blemishes that otherwise would go unnoticed when you're actually looking at the person. So let's go here, and again, hit the hand tool, and well, I don't like that one there, so let's actually go back to O, and you can actually click on your retouches that you made. You can adjust the size after the fact, move them around, and there, that's a bit better. So again, H, hand tool, zoom out, easy way to do it. Again, that's O on the keyboard, not 0. Another keyboard shortcut I use often is Command J. If you're working with sessions, all this does is move your image from your capture folder over to your selects folder. I like this because I can just go through my capture folder of all my raw images, and from there just hit Command J, Command J, Command J as needed and move my images across into my selects folder where I'll actually be editing those images. The other two shortcuts I use, and this comes back to filtering and organizing image, is plus and minus. What minus does will color tag an image as red. What plus does is color tag an image as green. I much prefer the way that Capture One tags, and not only tags, but filters and sees these images. It's not global, it's based on the session or based on the collection if you're using a catalog. I like that as opposed to Lightroom, which just looks at everything. It's just something I like. And with this, having green and red, this sort of coloring system can be useful to you. For example, you might have a collection of all your images in a specific folder, and then you might actually go in and choose red, create a smart album, and red is all the images that you're working with. They're not quite done yet, and then switch them to green when they're actually good to go and ready to be output and processed. Again, that's plus and minus to go between green and red color tags. Now, in the event you don't want to use the hand tool, you just want to move images around, you can hit V on the keyboard, and that will bring up your select tool instead of your hand tool. So again, hand tool allows you to double tap to zoom in and pan across your image. The V key will bring up just the arrow and it won't do anything else. It won't affect it. But this will be useful if you want to move images between folders. So again, that's the V key. Hitting K on your keyboard will bring up the Keystone tool. With keystoning, you can actually go in and get really granular in terms of adjusting the composition of your image if you want to tighten it up in certain directions, either vertically or horizontally. And once you get comfortable with keystoning, it can be really powerful and something you might use quite often, whether it's for architecture work or even with people. Another useful set of features will be zooming in and out. So hitting Command plus will actually zoom into an image, and you can use the hand tool to pan around, and hitting Command minus will zoom out of an image. Again, that's Command plus and Command minus. So let's just say we're happy with this image. I just applied a random style. I'm ready to export. I can go ahead, select this image, hit Command D, and it will actually process my image based on the recipe that I have selected and export that image to a destination that I have pre-selected. Again, that's Command D to process your image. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 keyboard shortcuts that I use for Capture One Pro, and it really helps me speed up my workflow. If you guys found this useful, please let me know in the comments below. We have a ton more tutorials on the way. I'm so excited to share them with you. Also, if you have any keyboard shortcuts in Capture One that you know about that I didn't mention, please let me know in the comments below. And before I go, I will say, if you're interested in trying Capture One Pro, I have a link in the description. And if you're considering buying it, please do consider using my code, my first name, Gadgen. It really does make a difference and supports the channel and lets them know that I'm doing great work here. So if you're interested in purchasing Capture One Pro, no pressure, but please do consider using my code. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.